Hello, welcome to Living Life with Purpose. I'm your host, Phil Foster. Yesterday was Palm Sunday. I hope you had a chance to get out to church, and got talking to our congregation about the time when Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey. And you may remember reading this. The people stood on the sidelines and they were waving the branches, Hosanna, Hosanna to the King. And it seems like it's just a few days after that, you may remember this, they changed from singing Hosanna to Give Us Barabbas. How do you go from worshiping Jesus, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, to turning on him and saying, give us Barabbas? Well, there's a lot of things I could probably say, but the thought that comes to mind is the way to keep the Hosanna in your life. In other words, you don't want to lose your joy, your Hosanna, your worship and praise of God, is to spend time each day in worship. So when do you worship? Well, let me give you a few things to think about. In the morning and at night. When you wake up in the morning, you ought to be able to take just a second out of your day and say, thanks, Lord. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. And then at the end of the day, after you've spent your day walking the walk of faith, serving the Lord, then you ought to be able sometimes before you go to bed, say, Lord, I may not have done everything just the way I should have done it or the best of my ability today, but I'm glad you still love me, and I'm glad that I'm still on your team. And you can just take a second and worship the Lord before you turn in for the night. So in the morning, at night, or any time between is a good time to just take a minute, worship Him, but also worship Him when you're weak. You know, in Hebrews chapter 11, I think verse 21 it was, where it talked about how Jacob leaned against his staff because he had grown weak. He was physically worn out. It was at the end of his life. But it says that he worshiped God as he leaned against his staff. You know, sometimes we're worn out, physically we're exhausted. But it's always a good time to push through in those moments and just offer worship to God. Well, look, there's so much I could say about worship as a way of life. But today I want to encourage you to take time each day to worship God in spirit and in truth. Hey, till we'll get together tomorrow, may God bless you, and hey, have a great day.